Hello everyone. In the last video, we learned about the concept of business and we also learned about the different types of economic activities. So, economic activities can be divided into three categories: business, profession, and employment. So, in this video, we will learn about the concept of profession and the concept of employment. So let us start with the concept of profession. So profession refers to the activities which require special knowledge and skill to be applied by an individual in his work to earn a living and where the entry is restricted. These activities are subject to guidelines or codes of conduct laid down by the professional bodies. The people who are engaged in professionals are known as professionals. And for example, lawyers are professionals. They are engaged in the legal profession governed by the Bar Council of India. Doctors are also professionals who are in the medical profession and are governed by the Medical Council of India. So we can say that profession includes those activities which require special knowledge and skill to be applied by individuals in their occupation to earn fees, for example, lawyers, doctors, CAs, etc. Now move on to the characteristics of the profession concept. The first one is well-defined body of knowledge. We can say that every profession has a systemized body of knowledge which can be learned through instructions. Second one is restricted entry. Every profession restricts the entry on the basis of examination or education. An individual can enter a profession like doctor, lawyer only after acquiring knowledge and skills through formal education and training. Third point is professional association. Professional association means that all professions are affiliated to a professional association which regulates its entry, grants certificates of practice, and develops code of conduct. For example, a lawyer has to become a member of Bar Council to practice law in India. Similarly, a doctor needs to be a member of Medical Council of India, and a chartered accountant needs to be a member of Institute of Chartered Accountants of India, ICAI. Fourth point is code of conduct. So, a strict code of conduct exists in every profession. Members of the profession are also required to follow the code of conduct sincerely and honestly. Next point, service motive. The basic motive of a profession is to serve clients with dedication. For example, the task of lawyer is to ensure that his clients gets justice. Next point, reward or return. So professionals earn income in the form of professional fees. Seventh point, nature of work. Professionals provide consultancy and advisory services to their clients. Now we will move to the concept of employment. Employment, we can say that refers to an activity in which an individual works regularly for another person and get remunerated in return. Those who are employed by others are known as employees, and the person who engage others to work regularly for them are known as employers. So the remuneration paid by the employer to the employee is known as salary or wages. Hence, we can say that employment refers to the occupation in which people work for others and gets remunerated in return in the form of salary or wages. For example, managers, assistants, clerks, etc. Now let us continue with the characteristics of the concept of employment. So first point here is the contractual relation. In this we can say that employment is the outcome of a contract between the employer and the employee. The contract may be written or oral. It consists of the terms and conditions of employment. Second point is reward and return. So, the employee is paid salaries or wages for his services at regular time intervals. Third point is nature of work. Employee is required to perform work as prescribed by the employer. Next point, capital investment. Employment does not require any investment and involves negligible risk. Next is code of conduct. So employees has to follow norms of behaviors as laid down by the employer. Last one, but not the least, qualification. So under employment, employee is required to possess qualification and training as prescribed by the employer. So now we will do a small difference or a very simple difference between business, profession, and employment. So you can see the difference given on the slide: business, profession, and employment. So here we have the first point for the basis: mode of establishment. So here we can say that the commencement of business depends upon the entrepreneur's decisions and other legal formalities if necessary. So business may commence with the decision of the entrepreneur. And for the profession, we can say that professions may commence on the completion of a or course degree of course, and by getting a certificate of practice. And for employment, we can say that employment commences on getting the joining duty by entering into a service contract or by getting an appointment letter. So next basis is nature of work. So it involves, so business, first of all, business involves providing goods and services to the people or to the public. And profession involves rendering of personalized expert services. Means here we can say that it involves the rendering of personalized services of specialized nature. Employment, the nature of work in case of employment is it involves performing work as per service contract or rules of service. Now, the next basis is qualification. So, in case of business, it does not require any minimum qualification. We can say no minimum qualification is required before starting a business. And in case of profession, it requires expertise, qualification, and training in the specified or the specific field. So, prescribed and professional qualification is must in case of profession. In case of employment, qualification depends upon the nature of job and as per service contract. Next point is reward or return, we can say. So, reward or return in case of business, reward for business is profit, and in case of profession, reward for profession is called fees. And in case of employment, the employees get salaries or wages in case of employment. Next point is capital investment. Capital investment, we can say that capital requirement depends upon the scale of the business or on the size and nature of the business. In case of profession, limited capital need is needed for establishment, and a very limited capital is required in case of profession. And in case of employment, no capital investment is required. Next is risk. As we have brought capital into the business, so it involves high degree of risk as profits are uncertain and irregular. So there is high degree of risk. There is always risk of uncertainties in case of business. And in case of profession, we can say moderate risk because fees we can say is generally regular and certain, so there is little risk in case of profession. And in case of employment, we can say that fixed and regular pay is given to the employees, so we can say there is no or little risk is involved in the case of employment. Next one is transfer of interest. So transfer of interest means the transfer of ownership. So in case of business, we can say that transfer is possible with some legal formalities. And in case of profession, transfer of interest is not possible. And in case of employment, it is again not possible to transfer the service contract. And in the last point, we have the point code of conduct. So we can say that in case of business, there is no prescribed code of conduct for business. And in profession, code of conduct is prescribed by the professional associations. And in case of employment, the terms and conditions of service contracts are applicable to employees. So I hope you have understood the difference between business, profession, and employment. So that's all for today. In the next video, we will continue with the same chapter, nature and purpose of business, with the next topics. Okay, thank you.